On time for Hope TV Newswatch on this, that day of December 2024. A very good evening to you wherever you're watching us from, and welcome to the broadcast. My good name is Keneddy Kimani, and signing for us tonight is Boniface Moridi. Now, President William Ruto has hit out at Kenyans opposing his projects, accusing them of having negative intentions for the country. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Devki Iron Processing Project in Taita Taveta County, the head of state criticized leaders and citizens who are against his key initiatives, such as the affordable housing, Taifa Care, the new university funding model, and the national livestock vaccination program. He added that the critics offer no viable alternatives and likened their actions to an evil spirit influencing them.
Na mimi nataka niwaulize wa Kenya, tafadhalini, kuna pepo chafu ya upingamizi kupinga kila kitu. Kiwanda kama hii watu wanaipinga, affordable housing wanaipinga, chanjo ya ng'ombe kuondoa magonjwa wanaipinga, kubadilisha mfumo ndio tuweze kuokoa universities zetu ambazo zilikuwa zinakwama wanaipinga, kupinga hata miradi yoyote ya serikali. Mambo ya universal health coverage wanaipinga, mambo ya afya wanaipinga. Sasa mimi nauliza, hii pepo chafu, nafikiri hata imefika wanapinga hata matoleo kanisani. Jameni, what is this? Surely, yani pepo ya kupinga kila kitu.
Now, the Executive Committee of the National Council of Churches of Kenya has called on the government officials to stop intimidating and attempting to abduct pastors who speak out against injustices. In a press briefing today in Limuru, the NCCK urged pastors to preach with freedom, courage, and without fear or favor. Additionally, the church leaders have called on Kenyans to shift away from celebrating corruption and instead begin to shame corrupt individuals. And beyond have gathered in Kenya for the regional conference on AI, digital and social media in elections. The event focused on regulating AI and digital platforms to protect democracy in Africa. Now, with AI playing a growing role in elections, discussions aimed at to create a framework that ensures these technologies support democratic processes and prevent misuse.
Our country has a history of very competitive elections. Emerging technologies such as AI are crucial in electoral processes, as they could eliminate the need for electoral petitions, since accuracy and reporting mechanisms will be held enhanced courtesy of technological deployment.
In this age and the present world, the application of artificial intelligence will define the future, and therefore Africa must develop new capabilities, new tools, and new regulatory frameworks to ensure that AI works for it, for its partners, for its interests, and for its values, and not against it.
But one thing is sure, this was the example of a Gen Z revolution. The reality of what young Kenyans have said. This country is not the same. It will never be the same after what happened last year with the Gen Z revolution. Please take note. Nobody can ever take Kenyans for granted. And I dare say, nobody will be seen to dare to steal the next election.
President William Ruto has handed over a 51 million shillings check from the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife to compensate victims of human-wildlife conflict in Taita Taveta County. Now, the compensation is part of a program launched by President William Ruto in April. However, delays in payments have sparked mixed reactions from victims despite the government's promise to verify and approve claims within 60 days. James Baraka now reports.
Government of Kenya is firmly committed to addressing human-wildlife coexistence and mitigating the climate change impacts that exacerbate conflict. We have invested in projects aimed at providing water for wildlife in protected and conservation areas, mitigating dehydration during droughts, and reducing human-wildlife conflicts caused by animals seeking water in settled areas. For the first time, the Government of Kenya is directly supporting community conservancies with infrastructure projects such as roads and water supplies for communities, livestock, and wildlife. Additionally, I have spearheaded a nationwide fencing program, starting with Lariak Forest in Laikipia County. In Taita Taveta County, we commissioned key fencing projects, including the Rombo Ziwani fence spanning 42 kilometers, the Bura Kasigao fence covering 25 kilometers, and the Kasigao Izera Risinga fence extending 38 kilometers. The building of this fence and all the efforts that we are making to address human-wildlife coexistence, the Government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, disbursed Kenya shillings 908 million in financial year 2022-2023 during an event in Voi, Taita Taveta County.
Thank you so much, James, for that report. Now, Kenyans have been urged to embrace the new social health insurance fund SHIF introduced by the Kenya Kwanza administration as a better alternative to the former NHIF. Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Modoni has assured Kenyans that SHIF retains all NHIF services and adds more benefits, including free treatment at level 2 and 3 facilities, chronic disease care, and health screenings. PS Modoni has emphasized that all health facilities will now offer services under SHIF, expanding access beyond the limited hospitals previously covered by NHIF.
So many people in the communities who are actually unwell, but they do not know. So SHA again is emphasizing on screening, that the package that you get from SHA and the benefit that you get from SHA comes with screening. You do not have to wait until you're unwell so that you go to hospital. Please get checked, whether it is in terms of cancer and other diseases that may be embroiled in our communities. Again, I have seen faces in need, people who are in dire need, but they do not have that information. We are giving them that information today, and we'll continue doing that for the whole of this week. And this is not just in Saita, we're doing it across the country, that they need to know when they go to the level 2 and level 3 of the facilities, you don't pay a dime. They need to know that we never completely disregarded what they were talking about NHIF, that SHIF is actually an enhanced NHIF, that all the benefits that you would get in NHIF are in SHIF, but we have enhanced it, we have spiced it up, that if you have any chronic illness, you can be treated in any health facility in this country. That if you have an emergency, you don't have to be asked for a deposit so that the doctor can attend to you, that you can be attended in any health facility for an emergency, and then they can claim in SHA.
The country today marked the International Day of Disabilities. Parents, caregivers, partners, and organizations have been urged to continue supporting people living with disabilities, led by the patron of Ushiriki Wema Foundation, Mama Tesi Musalia. This year's theme, Transformative Solutions for Inclusive Development, emphasized the importance of creating awareness and tackling the stigma surrounding disabilities such as epilepsy and autism.
And today we are here to celebrate the International Day of Persons with Disabilities at the National Museums of Kenya. And the theme of this year is amplifying the voices of persons with disabilities for an inclusive society. I can say we have taken great strides in that journey because, as we have seen in the program today, we have been able to hear voices of the children living with disabilities. We have seen what therapy has done for them. And we have seen that with a lot of support from the government and other institutions involved, we can be able to even make greater strides. So our biggest ask for our government is to help us create policies, especially on inclusive education. The biggest challenge of any caregiver is taking their child to school.
We appeal to the Ministry of Health to continue with the ongoing training of healthcare providers, to continue to recognize and assess a wide range of disability, to help improve their diagnosis, early detection, and provide appropriate interventions.
The other day I was talking to a lady who gave birth to a child with autism, and I think this is a message to men. Let's not disregard or disrespect our women when they give birth to children with disability. It's not a singular act. We are both involved, men and women. It's not about a curse. It's not about a cultural practices. When you give birth to a child with disability, both of you are responsible, and men should not delegate that responsibility to women.
Kisii County Women Rep Doris Aburi has tabled a bill to strengthen laws against gender-based violence through harsher penalties under the Sexual Offences Act. Speaking in Kisii, Aburi confirmed the bill has passed the first reading and promised public awareness for effective enforcement. She has at the same time condemned rising cases of defilement and violence against vulnerable groups, including persons with disabilities, and urged all stakeholders to cooperate in eliminating these crimes.
Amendment on the Sexual Offences Bill 2006. On this amendment, I want to must task the Ministry of Education to do national public awareness. National, kila pahali. Tusiseme you are coming to Kisii, juu Kisii ndiko na gender-based violence. Fanye national public awareness on these offenses. Watu wajue ukifanya makosa ni nini unangojea hapo mbele. So that is what we are going to do. I have that bill in Parliament. I'm waiting for the second reading. Tuendelee hivyo na tuendelee hivyo. Kwa hivyo mimi nimeanza. I'm an example.
Ningependa kuwasihi wazazi ambao wanatutazama leo waweze kupunguza mambo ya migogoro ya kinyumbani, kwa sababu migogoro hii wakati mwingine huchangia kuwadhuru wale watoto hata wanakwenda shuleni, masomo yao hayawi sanifu ama hawawezi kufikia viwango vile ambavyo walitarajia. Kuwaomba vijana wakati huu ambapo tuna sherehe nyingi hapa na pale, wajikinge, afya yao ni muhimu. Mimi kama memba wa kamati ya seneti ya afya, ningependa kuwaelimisha watu wetu kuwa tupimwe ili tujue hali yetu, na wale wenzetu ambao wanatuzunguka wasiweze kuwaonyesha unyanyapaa wale ambao wamekushaugua virusi hivyo. Mwisho, la muhimu sana ni kuwaomba watu wetu wa Kisii hapa. Mkisii ni mtu mwenye bidii, na tukipunguza mambo hayo nimezungumzia hasa migogoro ya kinyumbani, sisi wenyewe tunaweza kufanya biashara zetu hapa na pale, tunaweza kuchangia katika uchumi wa taifa, na Mkisii ataheshimika na makabila mengine yote hapa Kenya.
Na wao wa siku 16. Na hizi siku 16 tungependa watuambie kwa uwazi ni maneno gani yale ambayo wanapitia, ili tupate kuyaongea, tupate kuelimisha watu wetu wajua. Hasa kama hii ya kupigana kwa nyumba, unapata sasa watu wameoana vizuri kwa upendo. Ikifika kwa nyumba sasa unapata vita imekuja ambapo imeanza kuua wengi wetu, especially wale wa kike.
Health experts have raised an alarm over worrying HIV/AIDS deaths and stigma, now at 46% in West Pokot County. But despite the HIV prevalence rate dropping from 1.0 last year to 0.7 this year, 62 HIV and AIDS deaths have been recorded in the course of last year in the county. Among the deaths, 54 are adults, 5 are adolescents, and 8 are children. The health experts say that the causes of advanced HIV disease include late diagnosis when immunity is already compromised and is occasioned by failure to enroll for treatment and uninterrupted treatment.
Sisi kama partners pamoja na partners wengine ambao wako hapa tumecommit kwamba tuna run hii race. Sisi wote tunajua ya kwamba president amedeclare kwamba by 2027 tunataka to end AIDS in children. Na therefore it's really a race against time. Tutaweza kuachieve the goal of ARVs ambayo ni kuachieve what we call undetectable viral load. Then haya mambo mengine yote mengi tutaweza kuachieve. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuhakikisha kwamba tuna support the department na Ministry of Health at large kuhakikisha ya kwamba wale watu ambao wamejitokeza wakafanywa test, wakaanzishwa matibabu, wana sustain kukua kwa matibabu. Changamoto kubwa ambayo tuko nayo katika West Pokot County, tunaona kwamba watu wanakuja wanaanza matibabu na kwa sababu moja ama nyingine wanapotea. Wanawacha kukuja kuchukua madawa. Wakati wanawacha kuchukua madawa, hapo ndio kiwango ya virusi kwa damu inapanda. Na kiwango ya virusi inapopanda, inakuwa rahisi sana kupata zile new infections.
Kaunti yetu pia haija perform vizuri kwa mambo ya AIDS related deaths, kwa maana bado tunashuhudia fever ambavyo vinatokana na hii HIV. So kuna jambo la stigma ambalo pia liko sana kwa community, linafanya pia watu hawawezi kuwa identified vizuri na kutumia dawa vilivyo. Tulikuwa na around 62 AIDS related deaths in the course of last year, na hilo jambo limetupea wasiwasi kwa sababu hizo vifo kila maisha ya mtu inamata. So this year pia tumeweka mikakati na tunatumai kwamba ikikuja to next year tutazipunguza below the 50% ambayo tumeweka kwa county AIDS implementation plan. So kwa huu mwaka tukiendelea kusisitiza boy child, tumeona indicators zetu zinaonyesha kwamba watu wetu ambao tumeidentify sana ni wanawake, na wanawake ambao wanakuja kwa health facilities wanaji-identify, hao ndio sana tumeweza kuweka kwa treatment.
Being a community volunteer, ninatembea kwa community nikisaidia wamama, nikisaidia vijana, nikisaidia wazee na kuambia kwamba kuna maisha kabla na baada ya kupata virusi vya ukimwi. So ninasema hatutapima watu kwa macho, tutawaelekeza, tutawafundisha na tunawaambia hatutakufa, tutafanya kazi kwa community, kwenda community ya West Pokot tukiwaambia tuko na dawa na itamaliza makali ya virusi vya ukimwi.
It is exactly 20 minutes past the top of the hour. Time now for a short break, but immediately after I'll be back with the business and the sports news. Stick around.
Hii krisi majanja wata stream on na DSTV Stream. Stream on the good times with DSTV Stream. Visit dstv.stream to sign up and start streaming.
Na feel home na Sarah. Zari. Sarah Hassan.
Stream on the good times anytime, anywhere with DSTV.
Going back to the heart of worship.
Whether up the mountain or down the valley, we were created to worship God.
Enjoy carefully selected worship music every Wednesday all day long.
Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
We take it a notch higher with more worship music.
Every Wednesday
is Worship Wednesday.
Only on Hope FM. Listen and live.
Catch Sitam Special.
He's the God who raised up Moses in a palace only to use him in the wilderness, and raised up Joseph in the wilderness only to use him in a palace.
Young person, God is at work within your heart. What does it say? He is at work. It's Him who is at work in you.
If you are going to be successful in the service of God, it calls for sacrifice.
We get to appraise what God is doing, and by His invitation, partner with Him.
Come on, keep moving. He's inspiring you to challenge that which seems impossible. What He would require of us is to declare, send me, Lord, regardless of our background.
Only on Hope TV.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It will just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
You're watching Hope TV Newswatch. Now, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has said Kenya will enhance its cooperation with Germany in areas of trade and investment. Speaking during the 5th Germany African Business Summit in Nairobi, the Prime CS said other areas the two countries seek to explore include labor migrations, climate resilience, education, and healthcare. Mudavadi says this partnership will go a long way in increasing the depth and breadth of the ties between Kenya and Germany.
Kenya is committed to its role as a gateway to East Africa and the broader African market. We are steadily advancing our Vision 2030, which seeks to transform Kenya into a newly industrializing middle-income economy. At the same time, Kenya is working closely with partners to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly those relating to clean energy, climate action, and inclusive economic growth. We view partnerships with German enterprises as a critical element for achieving these ambitions. The bilateral relations between Kenya and Germany also extend far beyond business. Our cooperation in areas such as labor migration, climate resilience, education, and healthcare reflects the depth and breadth of our relationship. Together, we have been able to address some of the world's most pressing challenges, and the German African Business Forum provides a platform to amplify these efforts and chart new paths for collaborative success.
On swiftly, and Kenya's vibrant fintech ecosystem and innovations like M-Pesa took center stage during the African Economic Research Consortium's 61st biannual plenary session in Nairobi. Themed the Fintech Revolution in Africa, the event brought together economists, policymakers, and industry leaders to discuss the future of financial technology in Africa. Central Bank Governor Dr. Kamau Thuge highlighted Kenya's leadership in digital financial inclusion, with fintech projected to grow to $65 billion in Africa by 2030.
But the rest of the world has increased the speed, what you call the diffusion of technology from person to person, farm to farm, country to country. Are we catching up? Where are we? That's why today is a starting point. For the next 10 years, we shall be investigating all developments of technology, the startups, the trading, the prices, the location, the geography, and who is involved. And we shall be working, we as ERC, together with central banks, together with ministries of finance, and most importantly, with the private sector who are doing these innovations.
The CBK continues to monitor developments on CBDC and collaborate with other key stakeholders. Notwithstanding the notable progress in the fintech space, there are challenges. And these include the following: infrastructure constraints. While there is opportunity for fintech growth across Africa, in certain regions, growth is restricted by infrastructure constraints. These include weak connectivity, mobile and internet penetration, electricity, connectivity, and limited payment rails, the backbone of all digital transfers.
An Export-Import Bank and Med Additors Pharmaceutical Kenya Limited have signed an agreement to fund feasibility studies for a $40 million pharmaceutical plant in Kibos, Kisumu County. The plant on 10 acres will produce 2 billion tablets and capsules annually to treat non-communicable and infectious diseases, including cancer, diabetes, HIV, and malaria.
We want to focus initially on non-communicable diseases because our research shows that this is an area of increasing concern. There is a big growing population that is suffering from these diseases: cardiovascular, diabetes, and cancer, sickle cell disease. We want to really first address the unmet patient need, but also it gives us unmet market need. We'll bring medicines for HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria, high quality, affordable medicines. And lastly, we want to bring manufacturing of neglected tropical disease medicines into this continent. Because of all this, we have started to attract capital. You just saw that we signed a heads of terms agreement. We are also bringing private investors to the table, and we have seen early success. We are here to catalyze growth of pharma, which would lead to healthier people, and healthier people also translates into greater economic impact. We want
And to some sporting action now, with the Football Kenya Federation set to take place on the 6th of December this year. Presidential candidate Doris Petra is rallying support with a bold vision for transforming women's football in the country. Doris Petra, a seasoned football administrator, is promising a renewed focus on the women's game if elected. Her campaign has emphasized strides already made, including having over 20 Kenyan women players signed by international clubs and increasing the number of female coaches trained to elite levels. Petra's manifesto highlights a strategic plan to involve more women in football at all levels, from grassroots to professional platforms.
I'm in football for football, and I love football. I could not have been in this journey from where I started to the level where I am. I'm in football because I love football. I want to see what is good for football, and not only for footballers, but even people and women who are in football. I want to show them that after even playing football, there's other opportunities you can exploit. You can grow and be what you want, so long as you put your head into doing it, and if you love what you're doing. So FKF picked women football from nowhere to somewhere. I remember when I was NEC member, I was in charge of leagues and competitions, and we struggled for women football to be recognized. Let's start from recognition. We struggle to have the women competing beyond this country. We struggle to have the leagues well structured and running. It reached a time that we had to sit down with the various teams, clubs, to find a way of playing once every other week, so that the women football should not die. We have achieved, and I'm proud of the achievement, that for the first time when we came to office, today we boast of over 20 girls playing professional football outside this country, supporting the economy of Kenya and supporting their families. We have so many trained coaches. Just recently we had a class graduating us with CAFC for an all-ladies class that was just done recently. And there's still much more we can do. Because what I intend to do is we should not just focus on coaching only. There's the aspect of referees, there is administration, there's even being a first aider, there's even training of team managers. We are training coaches, goalkeeping coaches. We need to involve ladies in all this, which we have a plan, we have started, and we want to make it better. That we give hope to those ladies who have played football. For the first time in the history of football in this country, it's the young girls who are just playing in the villages, playing in schools, playing in Chapadimba, took us to World Cup, making history. And they did not just go to one World Cup. They won. They scored in World Cup and beat a team that is a very sophisticated team. It is our pride. And look at the men. We have also qualified for AFCON with our under 20. And these are young boys playing in schools. And then we have made a path for them to come and play in our leagues and join the national team based on your performance.
Tusker FC's November Player of the Month, Rain Ogam, is eyeing a continued scoring streak in the first leg after smashing his target with 7 matches to spare. Ogam scored a brilliant hat-trick on Sunday against Moranga Seal in an FKF Premier League match, taking his tally for the season to 10 goals after 10 rounds of matches, despite playing in just 7 of the 10.
Nashukuru God, imekuwa ni performance top as a team. Si wote leo tumekuwa the top na hao ndo amenisaidia at least leo nimeachieve goal yangu yenye nilikuwa nasikia ndafunga hat-trick. Nashukuru God tu pia juu ya win. Of course nilikuwa nimesema 10 goals mid season na nishafika tayari, but still kuna games more. So na hope ndaendelea kufunga bao mingi juu lazima nizoe hiyo net ishanikubali. Kwa hivyo na lazima tena niki target nyingine kwa hizi 7 games nafu taona kutokea hapo. It's an amazing feeling from coming to the NSL, to the FKF Premier League. Of course people will say it's difficult, it's hard, but I can say it's an amazing challenge. Every day na feel poa sana nikiweza kudon jezi ya Tusker. Nikiweza kufunga na nipe motivation na naweza daily.
With that, we come to the end of our news tonight. Many thanks to you for making time to watch Hope TV Newswatch. We really do appreciate the value of your time. On behalf of the amazing team that made this bulletin a success, have yourselves a blessed night. My name is Keneddy Kimani, and signing for us tonight has been Boniface Mureithi.